It was something I never expected to hear. Being 26 years old, at the time when I went and saw the doctor and he told me, it was a lot to take in.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me, Lord. All alone, this tear's journey. Won't you walk with me?
I started getting pains in my knees week on week after football, or when I was running. Eventually it just got to the point where I would try and get out my car after playing football and I'd literally just have to pull myself out, and take me 10 minutes to get up the stairs, just to try and lay down and stretch my legs out, put bags of ice on them. It just got that bad for me. It was literally stopping me trying to do anything as simple as just walk down the road or walk up the stairs. I went to see the doctor after having pain in my knees for a long period of time. When I went to see the doctor, he referred me to get an X-ray done. After a couple of weeks, I went back to get my results, thinking that I'd maybe need to go and have an operation. I'd be back to playing football and doing things as I used to do, within a couple of months. It was then that he told me that I have osteoarthritis. When I asked him then, would I be able to go back to playing football, or would I be able to still go out running, jogging? He did say to me, if I did that, I would need knee replacement surgery by the time I'm 40, and I would be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 50.
With there not being a cure or a quick fix for it, it's just really getting on with it.
For example, if I'm running, then I can induce a pain and I could start hurting after a while of running. But afterwards, instead of staying still, what I'll do is like little movements, like little exercises or sort of stretches, so it'd be.
In my line of work, obviously you've got the man next to me is relying on me, so I just basically powering through it no matter what. There's been cases where it's been very tough, and I've been thinking about might have to stop, but as soon as it enters your mind, I've been trained and I know anyway, never to accept that.
How I would describe osteoarthritis to someone else, it's just something which impacts everything that you would do on a day-to-day basis. You have to plan everything that you're going to do and make sure that it's not going to restrict you in any way with what you're doing. I used to play a lot of football, I used to take part in a lot of exercise. Unfortunately now I'm not able to do any of them things because of the impact that it can have on my knees. By partaking in anything like that, it can restrict anything as to walking down the street or trying to walk up a flight of stairs. Going up a flight of stairs can feel like a great challenge in itself. Getting from the bottom to the top some days is really hard. I'm going to be speaking to my dad while making this documentary. He's suffered with osteoarthritis for a long time now, and it's beneficial to see how he deals with it and what his understanding is of the disease also.
No, basically, my complaint was I was getting really terrible pains in the legs. At the time then I was working as fabricating and welding inspector. So obviously you're working on cold steel. I went to the doctors. He then referred me to an orthopaedic surgeon, whereby they took the x-rays and the result was that I do have the arthritis. For that, obviously I take the medication. I take quite a lot at the moment. At the moment I use Movalet gel, which is a gel that I rub into my knees on a morning. I take MST, which is morphine tablets, which is 50 milligrams. I take naproxen, which is for the relief of pain. Oromorph, which I take during the night to help me help my body relax really, so that I can get a decent sleep.
Right. You mentioned there the tablets that you take and the medication. You've also had operations in regards to your knees, haven't you? Do you want to just talk me through what
I
you've
had
had there?
them. That goes back to 1983. I was in bed. I woke up with no feeling at all from the lower part down. I got the GP in. He immediately got me sent to North Tees, whereby what I'd done is crushed the vertebrae. So I ended up under that operation then. So I had that operation, came back out of there, and within 3 to 4 weeks I had to go back again. I was in a different specialist. He operated again. The operation was partly successful, except I ended up with meningitis.
Sorry. Yeah, just take a minute then. I just want to stop filming for a minute. The interview with my dad was stopped there. I couldn't let him go through any more, bringing up past memories and how he's had to cope with this for numerous years now. It was too much at the time, I think, to go through any more.
Osteoarthritis is a degenerative joint disease. It affects about 8 million people in the UK. You generally get it in sort of hands, feet and spine, and also sort of the major weight-bearing joints like the knees and the hips. It varies quite a lot per person. For some people it can make it so they're wheelchair bound, and for other people they may not be affected at all. But the main problem is it just depends on the amount of pain that they can deal with and how they manage that pain. It is more common in elderly people, though it can develop in sort of younger people, mid-20s onwards, because of a varied amount of reasons. For example, through injuries, through congenital problems, it could be hereditary as well. It really does depend, but generally it's sort of in the over 50 category that people develop it. There's no cure, but there are treatments which can help the symptoms. Initially, medics can give hydrocortisone injections into the joint, this is specifically in the knee, to reduce the amount of pain there, and that can reduce for 3 weeks to a couple of months. Then, if things get worse, you can go for an arthroscopy, which is basically just washing out the joint. And then sort of the further, more radical treatment is a joint replacement, which is done purely for pain reasons only. It can just restrict their life, basically. For some people, it can stop them doing the things that they love, playing football, walking. It can be very restrictive, and it is quite a large problem.
Osteoarthritis, it does change what you can do in your day-to-day life and, you know, what you're doing with your friends and your family. You can feel quite lonely at times with this condition, feeling isolated away from others who are fully mobile. Any simple thing that you would normally do, you know, if you wanted to, you know, go on a night out, you have to pace yourself in what you do, and if you want to go and do some exercise or try and maintain a healthy lifestyle, it does change it completely, and you have to think about everything that you're doing.
It doesn't hold me back per se, but you've got to keep it in mind, especially with exercise and in the gym and that. Say if you want to go for a run and it's a particularly cold morning, if you're aching a bit, maybe just give it a miss and just have a swim or something like that. So I don't want to hold back too much, because I don't want to get lazy or anything like that, but at the same time there's no sense in pushing yourself too much.
I can't use the treadmill anymore. If I am, I have to walk on it, which it's not the same really. You can't really burn a lot of calories that way. I tend to have to use the hand bike. I can't use the rowing machine anymore, and a lot of it is impacted around doing a lot of weight work and that kind of thing, so it does reduce a lot in the terms of what you can do in that kind of area as well.
I still play football, so like I say, because it's not as bad as it could be, I can still play football. There's nothing I did before that, before I was sort of aware of it, that I can't do now. Importantly, it's not just mind over matter, so obviously it takes some determination, some mental strength and willpower. You've got to be sensible, so you can't just think I can do anything I want. you've got to listen to your body, you've got to pay attention to any feedback like aches and pains and stuff like that.
I am grateful for everything that I do have in life, and you know, friends, family, and I know there are people out there in the world that have conditions or diseases that are, you know, 10 times worse than mine, and you know, going through things which are really bad, but this is still a condition, and you know, for me it's something I have to work with every day. How do you think that's affected
It's affected
your life?
The family life, unfortunately, yours. I was obviously restricted what I could do. A lot of my time I was laid up in bed. And it was a shame because I missed a lot. With you and my two stepsons. But we got through it. And as a family.
Seeing what my dad and other people have gone through with this disease and getting their own perspectives, it really shows the enormous courage and desire these people have not to be beaten by this.
Am I worried for the future? Yeah, I am. It is something that, you know, I worry about every day to make sure that, you know, I can keep myself mobile for as long as I can. It's something that has affected my family, this condition, and it's something that I really hope doesn't affect the future.